Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Quoth the Raven, Season 2. We had an abbreviated season last year because we didn't get started till later. Winter here in the Northeast is not much for working on sailboats. It's cold, it's frigid. I had a great winter. Spent a lot of my time as part of the professional staff at Jiminy Peak on the ski patrol, skiing a lot, helping a lot of people, having a good old time. But over the winter, there's a couple things we did. We did the tiller. You saw that coming in. It came out beautiful. We redid the winches. We did a lot of work, a lot of planning. You know, what did I need to do? And I look at for instance, Mads and Ava on Sail Life and watching them rebuild a boat for 5 years, but they're doing that and they're not sailing. And then I look at Sam Holmes, who cobs everything and sails all over the world solo, and I respect that, but I don't know if I would take that kind of risk, even just sailing on the Hudson. So there's this combination of I need to go sailing, but I need to have the boat safe. So in order to do that, I had to prioritize some of the things I was doing. One of the words of wisdom that Jenna, the old marina manager, said to me was, Mike, you don't have to do everything in 1 year. So we built a new tiller. Can't wait to put the motor back in the boat, and we'll test and see if it works. We got the winches all rebuilt. We fiberglassed over the deck, and you'll see that either in this episode or later. We removed the head, and that was a pain in the butt. Boat in 1963 had an intake and an exhaust for the head, but had no holding tank. There wasn't room for a holding tank. All the sea cocks were frozen open. So they needed to come out, and we'll get more into that. That'll be an episode unto itself. So the three things that I really needed to do is I needed to replace the lifelines. The lifelines were in horrible shape, and we have some video on replacing the lifelines. We had to rebed the deck hardware. We didn't want anything leaking, and the bottom. And those are the three main things. Now, the big obstacle we've had is the weather. I don't mind working in the cold, but it's been raining. And how rainy has it been? Well, check out this video. One is from an earlier episode, the saddest day of the year when I was taking the boat out. And this is a picture I took just the other day. And you see the difference of the river level of the Hudson. And that's just an indication of how much rain we've actually had. And to do any kind of fiberglassing work, epoxy work, you really need temperatures above 50, hopefully, and a couple of days without rain to allow that to cure. So that's been my really big obstacle, has been the weather. So stick with us, and we appreciate your back. And please share this information, share the links, get more people involved. The more people, the better. I appreciate it. Thank you. Well, it's time to take the tarp off on the first project, Lifelines. So I've refilled these holes with fiberglass in the fall. I'm re-drilling the holes and rebedding the stanchions with butyl tape. This is the process of getting the lifeline up. Hopefully, before it rains, I should be able to get the lifelines at least on the port side up without the gate. The extra butyl tape, which has been trimmed off now, and stanchion number 1 is done. Okay, well, the stanchions are in on the port side, and now I have to just do the lifelines. I bought these Suncor lifelines, and we're going to go through the process of attempting to put them on, and if I can get the port side done today, I'll be pretty happy. So what I bought is this Suncor Quick Attach Lifeline kit. Should be relatively easy. The other thing I'm doing is I'm using white PVC coated lifeline as opposed to probably the more hip Dyneema or even just bare wire. And again, I did that because people using my boat, I want them to have just a good feel in their hand when they put their hand on that wire. And I think the difference between 5/16 and 3/16 is going to be substantial. So we're going to go through the process of this and see how it works. It comes in that cool plastic case. There's only 2 fittings in there, which I think is a little bit ridiculous, but I'm sure I'll be able to reuse that case somewhere on this boat. Alright, so here we go. Inside this case is 2 fittings. A turnbuckle for one end and a connector for the other end, and instructions on how to do it. Okay, I'm pretty good with instructions. There's lots of videos on how to do this. There's a really good one from Sailrite. I can put a link below on how to do it. Of course, getting plastic. Oh, there we go. One fitting out. You know, one of the things that I really miss is taking all these bronze fittings and replacing them with stainless. I mean, first of all, what they don't make in bronze, or what they do make in bronze, is much more expensive. And, you know, I gotta think about function versus form. I'm sure that this would be even much more expensive if I try to buy it somewhere else. Alright, so, step 1, complete. Unpacked. Alright, so one of the things you have to do is expose the line, because the line's not going to, with the PVC, is not going to fit in here. So I definitely have to take off probably about this much line. Just going to work this around with my trusty Leatherman here. of what I've read and what I've seen on video, they say this is the toughest part, getting this thing off. Obviously, I don't want to corrode the line. I don't want to nick the line. There we go. Look at that. Can you see that? Yeah, that wasn't so hard. All right, well, it's a little trying and a little screwing up. I got this one on. There's a little bit of a gap there, which is okay. You don't want this over the white. I'm going to seal that with a little silicone in a minute. But right now we're going to put it on the boat. There's a lot of cuts in that because the first one took me 25 minutes to do. Lots of trial and error. How far back to strip the plastic coating. Screwing up here and there. But by the time I got done with let's see, there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. By the time I got done by the third or the fourth one, it was down to pretty quick. By the eighth one, it was 5 minutes apiece. So I'm really happy with the way these turned out. I think this is a really good do-it-yourself for not that much money. The pieces, if you have to replace them, you can reuse the hardware, although you have to buy I don't know what they call it, the little cone and the little bushing. You have to rebuy those, and if they're about $15 a piece. So it's not inexpensive to reuse the hardware, but it's a lot less expensive than buying new hardware. So I'm real happy. Take a look at the finished Lifelines.